All right, hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings to all you Wakim out there who pushing his word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believe in on the gospel. And it's the brother Quara Abad from the GMS Houston camp. And I want to go into another lesson that Lord willing to do be edifying. And I want to touch on something that I was, kind of thinking about today, I guess in today's meditation, doing a little meditating at work. And speaking of work, at times, for those of us who work, who have jobs, some brothers or sisters might have more than one job, but at times you can get, your job can become overwhelming, or at times you don't feel like going in, you don't feel like clocking in, you might not feel like doing it, but the thing, or should I say the reason that we still go to work when we don't want to or feel like it, the reason that, we still put in that time and clock in, even when, we may want to do other things in the world. The reason we still do this because we know that job that you may not like, you may not feel like, giving time to today or tomorrow, whatever it may be. But the reason we still do these things is because we know having that job going to sustain us in this current world. We need to have money to eat, so to have money to pay bills, to put a house over your head and clothes, or if you have children, you might think about quitting. You think about your children, Yeah, you might want to lead a company or something, but you're like, I ain't really gonna find benefits nowhere else like that, right? So again, at times we may have jobs and you might not feel like going always. But the thing is, that's going to sustain you and allow you to get by in society is the reason you keep going. And I was thinking about that because when you come into this truth, and I want to get an account here. It's not a story, but it's one of our forefathers expressing how he was feeling. Now when you come into this truth, a lot of people just get used to the honey. The excitement when you first come in, you feel like a king, you're a king again. I'm being funny, but you feel like a king. You gonna have slaves, you're the Lord chosen people. But on the other side of that, once you come in, you realize you can't do the same things as you once did before. You can't have the same so-called fun, and there's emphasis on that so-called, emphasis on that because it is all BS. Like I said about Moses, he didn't want to enjoy the pleasures of sins in Egypt for a season. He rather serve the Lord. Because anyway, that's not the point. The point is, when we come into the truth, after a while you realize you can't have the so-called same fun, right? You might not be able to be around the same people always. You realize you got to get your time up and give it to the sheep, give it to the Lord. Go to camp, go to class, be at the fellowships, whatever it may be. And you might not have time for your family, but going back to that thing, this is a job. You see, this not no hobby being called to serve the Lord. This is a job. This is our occupation. And some days we might not be on fire. Some days, it might not be on your spirit to go to camp. Some days, it might not be on your spirit to read, to do a lesson, or even to listen to videos. But you know why we do these things still? Right? Because we know if we do this work, it's going to sustain our life. Now, again, not saying that because you don't feel like doing a lesson one day, that mean you wicked. No, because I love doing this work. I love going to camp, right? I love bringing that out, right? Doing lessons, feeding the sheep, being around brothers, helping out brothers. I love this ministry that we in. But anybody who say they on fire 24/7, I ain't gonna say you're a liar, but you different. You see? But the thing is, even going back to the job thing, it's lucky for the long intro. I'm gonna get into the Psalm 73. But going back into the job thing, right? You might not feel like going, but that's going to allow you to get by. That's going to put a roof over you and your family head. Well, the same thing with this truth. It may be days that you want to have your own time to yourself, but you got to remember, we ain't working for us. We got to serve the Lord. And the thing is, let's get Psalm 73. Let's tap into that, into Asaph, right? I'm going to read this in the NLT. Because our forefathers felt the same. You know, you look out to the world, these people living it up. It seemed like the wicked never get judged. And we sitting here serving the Lord and we going through it. Right? But Asaph was feeling like that. And to the point he was like, well, what's the point of me serving the Lord? Until he remembered that we go win in the end. And the people going to lose. That's why we do it, because it's going to help us be sustained in the time to come. Let's get it. This Psalm 73, this shouldn't be a long lesson. You know, just a thought. Psalm 73:1, it says, truly the Most High is good to Israel, to those whose hearts are pure. But as for me, I almost lost my footing. See, he was rooted and grounded, but he was like, look, I almost slipped. I almost fell out. You see? He said, but as for me, I almost lost my footing. My feet were slipping and I was almost gone. For this why? He said, because he was looking out and seeing this. He says, it says, for I envied the proud when I saw them prosper despite their wickedness. And so like if I talk a little lower, you know, I got co-workers and shit coming out. So hold on, bear with me. But the Psalm 73 and verse 3 in the NLT, he says, for I envied the proud when I saw them prosper despite their wickedness. They seem to live such painless lives, and their bodies are so healthy and strong. It says they don't have troubles like other people, and they're not plagued with problems like everyone else. They wear pride like a jewel necklace and clothe themselves with cruelty. And we look out in the world, and it's the low lives who winning. You know, the degenerate people of the world, the sexy rares of the world who sell themselves, and that's the ones who winning in this world. And we looking at that like, damn, we over here serving the Lord, and, you know, we going through shit all day. Well, Asaph saying the same. It says, and again, keep that mindset on how you feel about your job sometimes. Sometimes your job piss you off. Sometimes, you know, you might not feel like being there. That's right. The thing is, remember why you there. This is providing a way for you to live, man. The same thing for us. In the truth, like Asaph, it may be days you might be mad. You see? Days you have to force yourself to get into it, which is all discipline at the end of the day. You have to force yourself to read, force yourself to do certain things, just like you got to force yourself to go to work. Why? Because, you know, in the end, you're going to have a check to sustain you. You see? To allow you to get by life. So that's why we do these things, man. Even though sometimes it may not be on our spirit. And I remember the Apostle Tahar said that a while back. That's what discipline is. Doing something when you don't feel like doing it. Let's finish reading. Let's see how Asaph felt. Right? Seeing the people in the world winning. It says they scoff, verse 8, they scoff and speak only evil, and in their pride they seek to crush others. It says, verse 12, look at these wicked people enjoying a life of ease while their riches multiply. It says, did I keep my heart pure for nothing? So he asking a question, damn, so I repented for nothing? I've been serving the Lord for nothing? So he asked the question, he said, did I repent for nothing? So like he said, did I keep my heart pure for nothing? Or did I keep myself innocent for no reason? That's another question. It says, I get nothing but trouble all day long. Every morning brings me pain. And that's how us servants of the Lord are. We going through it while these people is living. But check it out. Because something go hit Asaph. It says, if I had really spoken this way to others, I would have been a traitor to your people. And, you know, even this lesson, brothers probably go, you know, because if Asaph would have expressed his mind, people probably would have thought he was tripping. Oh, that brother getting weak, right? Oh, he getting weak. Oh, he falling out. But again, if you on fire 24/7, you different. You different. You see? But it says, if I had really spoken this way to others, I would have been a traitor to your people. So I tried to understand why the wicked prosper, but what a difficult task it is. And then I went into your sanctuary. So again, he was feeling like this until what? Until he found out the truth of the matter, that these wicked people ain't just gonna win forever, and us as the servants of the Lord ain't just gonna lose forever. When he understood the end game, he was okay with going to work. When he understood the end game, he was okay with clocking in. When he understood the end game, he was okay with doing things he didn't feel like doing. The same thing as we do with jobs. When you understand you're going to be rewarded at the end of the week or 2 weeks or whatever, you're going to do things that you might not feel like doing. How much more in this truth, man? How much more in this truth? Right? And again, it's not that we don't feel like doing it, because I love doing the work. We all love doing the work, going to camp. You know, shit, that let us get stuff off our chest, how we've been feeling throughout the week. You see? That's a chance to vent. You know, I love putting the lessons up. You know, the sheep be fed and edifying the world on Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. That makes us feel good. Why you think after you do a lesson, it's like, you know, you feel accomplished. Or after you read, you feel accomplished. After you listen to a lesson, you feel accomplished, because it feeds our spirit. We love doing it. But is that going to be every day? No, sometimes we got to get ourselves into it. Even your everyday job. Some days you might have good days and you love being there. I love this job, man. We like a family over here, y'all. But some days you're like, man, fuck everybody. But you still go. But you still go. You see? But you still go. It says, then I went into your sanctuary, O God, and I finally understood the destiny of the wicked. And truly, you put them on a slippery path and send them sliding over the cliff to destruction. And in an instant, they are destroyed, completely swept away by terrors. It says, and when you arise, O Lord, you will laugh at these silly ideas as a person laughs at dreams in the morning. Then I realized that my heart was bitter and I was all torn up inside. You see? And it says, I was so foolish and ignorant, I must have seemed like a senseless animal to you. And that's what he eventually felt like after. He was like, damn, Lord, I was tripping for even thinking like that. Right? And that's the point. We don't have to think like that, like we in this for no reason. We're wasting our time. No, man. We know when we clock into this job, we have a reward coming to us. And that's why we still able to put our lives on the line, you know, and be disciplined and serve the Lord, even if it may be I want to say a convenience in our day. Because if it's an inconvenience for you to serve the Lord, that's you. That's you. Right? But again, love what we do and don't get tired of it, man. That's the ultimate message. Love what we do and don't get tired of it. Let's end off with this. And that's what Asaph had to realize, man. Love this job. Love the opportunity the Lord gave us. Love our occupation. We here. Not everybody is meant to be here or called to be here, man. You see? Hey, it says if it was easy, everybody could do it, right? Everybody ain't here. Love what we do. Let me end it off on this. This Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 34. It says, for ye had compassion of me and my bonds, and took joyfully the spoiling of your goods, knowing in yourselves that ye have in heaven a better and enduring substance. See, from doing this work, what Apostle Paul was telling the church, you know, y'all wasn't, you know, afraid to give me y'all resources and help me out, because y'all know y'all was going to be blessed more once we get saved. And that's what we see. The payoff. It says, so cast not away therefore your confidence, which have a great recompense of reward. And Asaph, our forefather Asaph in Psalm 73, he had to get reminded about that. Look, man, don't cast away what you've been into. Don't cast away what you've been believing in, because it got a great reward coming at the end. You see, just even some of us, you might be overwhelmed at your job. That don't mean you quit. We had a brother who used to be in a camp. And, you know, he had another brother who helped him get a job. And then Jake, so the brother who was already there, who helped him get the job, had his reputation on the line for putting this man on. Well, the brother who used to be in the camp, he quit. And we asked him why. He's like, man, because they was messing with me, man. Man, you don't grow up. You see, if you don't grow up, because they messing with you, so you quit? No. So again, the point is, some days you ain't gonna feel like being bothered or whatever, going to work, but guess what? You have to. So how much more for the Lord, man? Love what we do. Love what we do. It says, Hebrews 10 and 35, 5, cast not away therefore your confidence, which have a great recompense of reward. For you have need of patience. Just be patient. Even in the real world, you maybe want to quit your job not knowing your boss is about to give you a raise anyway, right? About to up your position anyway. Be patient sometimes. It says, for ye have need of patience, that after ye have done the will of the Most High, ye might receive the promise. For yet a little while, and he that shall come will come and will not tarry. Now the just shall live by faith. You have to believe that though. That something is waiting on us. Now the just shall live by faith. But if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him. See? So the Lord ain't looking for nobody who want to quit on him, who getting tired on him. You know? Even the time that we might not feel like, or it might not be on our spirit, because I don't want to say feel like, you know, because again, I love doing this thing, but sometimes it's not on our spirit to do the work. I don't even want to say that. Sometimes it's not on our spirit to get a lesson in, or, you know, to read. But guess what? We still do it, because the Lord ain't looking for nobody who getting tired and not willing to go that extra mile, man. That's the point of a fighter, doing something when it's not convenient for you to do it. So the Lord says, now the just shall live by faith, but if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him. But we are not of them who draw back unto perdition, but of them that believe to the saving of the soul, man. Come on. So look, we have been hired to do this job. We got to go all the way. We have to go, Lord willing, go all the way and finish this thing, man. That's who the Lord looking for. You know, but I'm going to end it right there. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim Chakwadash, and with that, Shalom.